Let's see if someone can get this one. Ethos, the third rhetorical appeal. What is ethos? The appeal to what? Ethics? Not quite. Good guess, though. I like the way you're thinking.
Character?
You got it. You're right. Kenzie says I Googled it. Which includes being ethical to establish virtuous character. Aristotle, if you don't know if you know about Aristotle, he did other works. He did a lot of other work in philosophy. He's known by another big work he did called Virtue Ethics. This is where this kind of plays into his rhetoric studies. Virtues, does anybody know what a virtue is? Things like temperance, moderation, bravery, and courage, right? Those are virtues. Aristotle says we are able to appeal to people's desire to see you as a good person, essentially. Presenting yourself as someone who's acting in goodwill, right? Acting in good faith, demonstrating their virtues of a credible public speaker, right? Someone who's using their language appropriately, not fear-mongering, not being irrational and using argumentation that's shaky and doesn't make any sense. Using good faith appeals. The other side of this is, besides like the opposite of virtuous character, is known as vicious character. Vices are what come to mind. Vices, the opposite of bravery, being like, what is that called? Cowardice. Yes, cowardice. Right. Vices establish a vicious character in the eyes of your audience. If for some reason you're wanting to do that, you can use ethos appeals. But for the vast majority of times, you are going to want to present yourself as someone who is a good person. Ethos is it's a bit simple on the surface, but it's a little bit difficult to wrap your head around when you're crafting a speech, because it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Yes. I mentioned earlier credibility, the concept of credibility. That falls into this appeal as well. How might you establish your credibility as a public speaker? What are some things you can do?
List your experiences.
List your experiences? What kind of experiences?
Like what would make you either an expert on the topic or knowledgeable of the topic?
Yeah.
Like your job.
Yes. Yeah. Sharing what you do, sharing what you know as an expert, right? So bringing yourself in as an expert of the subject, right? So for example, Stacy, right? Bringing in her expertise, years of public speaking teaching and instructing in comm studies. That's a great way to establish her credibility and her virtuous character. What's another way besides just saying that you're an expert? To establish your credibility. If I'm not an expert, how might I build my virtuous character through credibility? What can I do? Yeah. List your sources. Yes. Cite your sources. So I teach public speaking currently right here at Kansas State University. I share with my students that there are 4 critical things you need for an effective oral citation. Okay? Long story short, author name, year of publication, the title of the work, and the author credential. Credential, something that shows that that person is an expert in the field that you're citing them for. For example, I might cite Brené Brown. For those of you who know Brené Brown, internationally recognized author on a wide variety of things. But for example, one of the things that she's known for is education. So like leadership and education. I might cite Brené as an expert and include that in my speech, saying this is someone who is world-renowned, a world-renowned scholar in this field. And she says this, so you should listen to me. anything else about ethos? What can I clarify about the three rhetorical appeals? So, this is normally the place where we move on to what are called the 5 canons of rhetoric. But we're not done yet. Because there's actually more than 3 artistic proofs that for some reason, I don't know why, people don't talk about as much. And they are so useful, especially in public speaking courses, but also for you as young professionals who are going out into the market for jobs. These are going to be so useful for you to convince people to do what you want them to do, right? Ethically. The first one of these, I would love, oh, if someone knows this one, please raise your hand. Does anybody know Kairos? Oh my gosh, you do! Oh, please tell me, where did you learn about Kairos? Darn it! They beat me to it. Okay, well, hopefully you didn't learn any more. So Kairos. Tell me what it is. What's Kairos? What is the rhetorical appeal to? Oh, you're right. Yeah. So there's actually 2 rhetorical appeals to time. I'm not going to talk about the other one, but yes. It's the rhetorical appeal to relevance, right? What is relevant in the current moment in time, okay? I use this appeal to help speakers flesh out particularly their introductions of their speeches, right? When you're crafting a topic, that's difficult enough. Knowing what you want to talk about, that's hard. Conducting audience analysis. What does your audience expect to hear, and how can you capitalize on that? That's difficult on its own. But making your topic and making it relatable to your audience are 2 separate things. Kairos can help you do that. For example, something like if I'm giving a speech on, say, food deserts, it is critical that we as Kansans address the problem before us today. Food deserts in northwestern Kansas have gone out of control, with surging grocery prices and people who are forced out of their homes, unable to pay rent. It is critical we examine this issue and how we can help those citizens today. What's the Kairos appeal in there? Yeah? It's an issue today. What else? What else makes it relevant? It was also an issue 10 years ago. Tell me more about that.
It's been a problem, and nobody seems to know how to fix it necessarily.
Okay, so it's been a recurring part of the discussion.
Yeah.
That's okay, and that is continued to today. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. So it makes it especially relevant because we haven't addressed it yet. Yes. We have not addressed the issue yet. What about the location? It's here where we live. Where specifically? Kansas, more specifically. Yes, yes. I'm advocating to people here in Manhattan, but where are those, did I mention those food deserts are right now? Northwestern Kansas, exactly. So I am establishing relevance in multiple ways. Both, yes, through time, the current moment, and also through place and space. There are many ways you can craft incredible Kairos appeals. Use them. Use them as tools. Find ways to make your audience engage with you. Don't just hope they engage with you. Find pathways to force their attention by making yourself interesting, by appealing to what is interesting to them.